Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Garage Talk with Doug. I'm Doug, and today we're going to talk a bit about automotive maintenance, basically where your fluids are located, how to check them, and all that. I'm going to rotate the camera around here in just a minute, and we'll get started. In the meantime, anybody that comes on board, let me know that you're here by saying something. If you have any questions for me, what this channel is all about is for me to try and answer your automotive related questions and try and provide you some insight as to what's going on with your automobile. So welcome once again to Garage Talk. King of Chuck, welcome aboard, buddy. It's good to see you. How you been? All right, let me just flip the camera around here and we'll get started. The most important thing that I'd like to talk to you about today is checking your fluid levels and such. With winter coming, we're all trying to get our cars ready for winter. We want to make sure that they're in good operating condition. And we want to make sure that, all of our fluids are topped up. We want to make sure that we're not going to have problems with the automobile as we, go into the winter months. So I'm going to start by showing you where the fluids are located, how to check them, and what the proper fluids are to add to your automobile. So let me flip the camera around here. There we go. What we're working on today, folks, is a 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis with a 4.6 liter V8 engine. We're going to start by checking the oil level, and for that I need a rag. I'm also going to move this camera over so that you can see where the oil dipstick is located. Okay, the oil dipstick, folks, is this. I'm sorry about that, folks. Evidently, I'm having some technical issues with my internet service. It's buffering, and that's a problem. In any case, I hope you were able to see where the dipstick was located. I'll try and show it to you again when I put the dipstick back in. But in any case, here's my dipstick here, and I simply take my rag, after pulling it out, wipe it off, and then I want to go back to the car, which I'm going to do here right now. So I'm going to go off screen here for a minute so that I can check the oil level. Bear with me, folks. I'm just inserting the dipstick back into the hole so that I can pull it back out and I can take a look at my oil level. Now, I hope you can see this. I don't know whether you can or not, but there's my dipstick and there's my oil level, and looking at it here, all right, there's a crosshatch mark on the dipstick here. All right, I don't know whether you can see that or not, but my oil level is full on this, and my oil is very clean. I'm going to actually take the oil in between my fingers and rub it together. Shoot. The wind is taking my camera over. I'm sorry about that. The wind just grabbed the camera and flipped it over. But in any case, I took the oil, I'm taking it on my fingers, and I'm rubbing it together. I want to feel for any kind of grit, especially metallic. Okay, if I had any metallic grit in the oil, it would indicate a sign of engine wear, and it would indicate an internal problem with the engine. I don't feel any. This car has about 53,000 miles on it, relatively low for a 2003 car, but I don't drive much anymore. In any case, like I said, I've checked my oil. There's what the oil dipstick looks like again. Okay, generally they're red or yellow, sometimes they're black. Doesn't really matter what the manufacturer makes it, but in any case, what we're going to do, since we've checked the oil, pardon me, my knees don't work all that well. I'm going to go back, reinsert that. Bear with me here again, folks. Alrighty, the dipstick's back in. Now, if I had to add oil, how do I know what kind of oil to add? Well, on Fords, it tells you. And it tells you right on the cap. You see the cap there? The cap, I know it's going to read backwards and inverted probably, but no, not this time. It says to use an SAE 5W20 oil. All right, that's the viscosity grade of the oil. All right, give me just a second here, folks. Okay, if I was adding oil to the vehicle, all right, you'll see that that's Mobil 1 motor oil. This is not the synthetic. I'm sorry, that is the synthetic. This is generally what I would use in my vehicle, except that they call for 5W20 oil. You can use a 5W30. You know, it's a little thicker oil, maybe a little better for the summertime, but Ford recommends you use a 5W20. That's what I tend to use in my vehicle. Mobil 1 is an excellent full synthetic oil. I just want to show you that the SAE rating on this particular bottle of oil is 5W30. And, you know, last week, guys, I was talking about API ratings. API is the American Petroleum Institute. And you'll find those ratings on the back side of the oil can. All right. I'm sorry, this thing is not cooperating with me today, but if you look at this circle right here, all right, this circle right here is on all bottles of motor oil sold in the United States. It tells me that the API service category for this oil is SN, and it's an SAE 5W30 oil here, and I'm not happy about that. I'm sorry, folks, we keep buffering. I got a lousy connection out here in my driveway. But in any case, that's what your oil should look like. Always make sure that you're using the proper API designation of oil when adding oil to your engine. You add oil through your oil fill cap. And let me see if I can't get over here and show you where that is at. And we'll take a look down in there. All right, here we go. Okay. There's our oil fill cap right there, folks, right in the middle of the picture. I'm going to come over here with my rag, and I unscrew it by turning it to the left. Remember, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Let's take a look down in there, see if we can see anything. Yeah, I can see some parts of the engine down in there. I don't know whether you can or not, probably not. But in any case, it looks pretty clean down in there. I like to stick my finger down in the hole, doesn't everybody, and bring up some oil. And you can see what it looks like. It's nice and clean. Again, I'm going to rub it together. I don't feel any metal particles, which is a good sign. That means that I don't have any excessive engine wear. All right. We're going to put the cap back on. Again, insert my cap. All righty. And turn it this time to the right. And we now have the cap back on. All right, we're going to work our way around the car to various fluids. The next fluid I'm going to go to check is my antifreeze, and that I can check is my antifreeze, and that I can check simply by looking at the container. All right, you can see that that's where my full line should be. Okay, and that's where my antifreeze level is. It's just below the cold fill line. We can top it up a little bit. So I'm going to remove the cap again by turning it to the left. Okay. It tells me that this is a pressure cap. It says that it's a 16 psi, which is pounds per square inch pressure cap. And it also shows me what my level should look like. Okay, never open up a hot radiator, folks. Never, ever. It is under pressure. The fluid is hot and boiling. And when you release that, you could scald yourself very badly. So I'm going to take a look at the condition of my antifreeze. It's a little dirty. It should probably be changed this year, which I plan on doing in an upcoming video. So that's basically what that looks like. We're going to top it up this time with just a little bit of water. There we go. We just topped it up with a little bit of water. Then we're going to check our fluid level again. And we are right up on full now, as you can see. Okay, again, my full mark is right there. And my antifreeze level is right there as well. Okay, as you can see that now. All right, so again, that's done. And we're going to put our cap back on. All righty. There we go. Our cap is back on. Make sure it's tight and it clicks once. All right, once it clicks, we know it's locked in. Okay, moving our way around, our next stop is our power steering fluid. Again, power steering fluid should be checked with the engine off and the engine cold. And this is our power steering fluid container right here. Okay, again, turn the cap. And we can take a look down in there. And there's fluid down in there. Again, I'm going to take my finger, put it in there, bring up some fluid, make sure that it's not gritty. It's not. It looks nice and clean, and it's full and in good shape. So, again, we can put our cap back on, and we have now checked our power steering fluid. Okay, moving right along. All right. Our next fluid that we're going to check is a washer fluid. And a washer fluid says washer fluid on it. Okay, and we will pop that cap, and we will take a look inside, and we're pretty full. So we're in good shape there. Alrighty. Very simple to check that. Make sure that those caps are snapped back on. Alright, next fluid we're going to check here is the brake fluid. Before I check the brake fluid, I want to wipe any dirt off because I don't want to get any dirt inside the master cylinder, because that will contaminate the brake fluid. So we're going to just wipe off the cap and wipe off the plastic reservoir. And we're going to again unscrew our cap here. Alrighty. And we'll take a look down in there. Again, I'm going to stick my finger in there. I want to see what color the fluid is. It should be fairly clear, and it is. Okay, you can see that on my fingertips there. It's a fairly clear fluid. And we are pretty full here, so I'm going to leave this one alone. We're just below the max line on the brake fluid, so we're in good shape there as well. Okay. All right, lastly, the last fluid that we have to check, we've gotten to it already, and that last fluid is the transmission fluid. Now, to check the transmission fluid, what we have to do is we have to start the car. We have to let the car get up to operating temperature, and then we can properly check the transmission fluid. Okay, this is automatic transmissions. Alrighty, let me just park some of my stuff and move it around here a little bit. Just bear with me, guys, because the next step is for me to start the car. Alrighty, thanks for bearing with me. Alright, let's go up inside the car here. And let's start it up. There we go. Okay. There we go, folks. Let's start the car. As you can see, the car has just over 53,000 miles. She fires right up. Let's turn that radio off so you can hear me and not it. And you can see that I have a temperature gauge here. And what I'm going to do is wait for that temperature gauge to move up. This is going to take a little while, so while we're waiting here, let me take your questions, and we'll move on. All right, hey everybody, what's going on? Alrighty, let me just position my camera here. Give me just a second. All right, evidently I've got some problems with my internet connection. It keeps wanting. Alright, I'm back. I'm sorry about that, folks. Technical issues with the internet service providers here. Let me get back to my chat here. Carolyn, I'm technical issues with my internet provider. Evidently, I've got buffering issues, connection issues. But in any case, we're moving right along here. I'm waiting for the engine to warm up so that I can check my transmission fluid. As you can see here, I'm going to invert the camera here in just a second. You can see the engine running. You can probably hear it. But there it is, my big 4.6 liter V8 engine. Not that big, it's actually a small V8 engine. Not that big, it's actually a small block in consideration of. There we go. Sorry folks, I'm back again. Alrighty. If this doesn't work out, we're probably going to wind up, having to stop and then, reboot. But in any case, like I said, we're waiting for the engine to warm up. Let me get back to the live stream here. All right, Carolyn, yeah, I'm glad you appreciate this. It hopefully will help you. battery right down there. And you can see that there's a red cover over the positive. There's nothing like the negative. That's to prevent anything from shorting out. If the hood accidentally touches the battery post, it's not going to short out the battery and cause sparks and a possible fire with the hood. So the next thing I'm going to do over here is I want to remove this cap from the positive terminal. And you see all this green gunk that's down here? That's corrosion on the battery terminal. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean that up. But before we clean that up, I have to disconnect the terminals, which means I have to turn off the car. And before I do that, I want to check the automatic transmission fluid. So we're going to leave this running for a little bit here. Folks, if you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. Alright, I hope you're appreciating this live stream. This is something I've been meaning to do for a long time, as far as getting out to the car, showing you under the hood. You know, I've been under the weather here for the last week and a half or so. I'm still fighting off this lousy head cold. I'm winning the battle though. I'm getting there. But I'm still a bit congested and a bit wiped out from last night's dialysis session, to be quite frank. Like I said, folks, this is important maintenance. This will help you keep your car running in pristine condition through the winter. Alright, there are other things that need to be checked. One of the things that I'll be doing in the future, hopefully next week if we have good weather, and it is beautiful out here today on Long Island, we'll be pulling some wheels and checking brakes, because I have an inspection coming up on this in January. I want to make sure that this vehicle is going to pass. And there are a number of things that I have to do to it beforehand, and I hope to be there with you to take you through all of this as I go. So that's what it's about here. In any case, let me just flip the camera around here so you can see me once again. There I am. There you are. Good to see you all. All right. Guys, questions, please. Please, any questions for me? Shoot. Hey, that's what this channel is all about, to try and help you out with your automotive questions. So, any questions that you have, please, keep it coming. Alright, no questions. I'm surprised. You guys are like my students back in high school when I asked them if they had questions. Nobody would ever raise their hand. Anyway, so things go. Let me go over here. The car should be warming up about now. And let's go and let's pull that transmission dipstick. Okay, and I'm going to flip the camera around here. Okay, our transmission dipstick on this engine, being that it's a conventionally mounted engine, in other words, it's not a front-wheel drive, so it's not a transverse mounted engine. There's our transmission fluid dipstick, and it says right on it, transmission fluid, and use Mercon fluid. Okay, that's the type of fluid that Ford wants us to use in their vehicles. We're going to pull out the dipstick. Just bear with me here for a second. Oh, jeez. There we go. Let me flip this camera around again. Okay, folks, there's our dipstick. And I don't know whether you can see it or not, but there's our fluid level on it. And again, it should be up in this crosshatch area. I'm going to wipe this off, and we're going to reinsert the dipstick. Okay, that dipstick goes in. I don't know whether you can see it. Let me flip the camera here again. Okay, if you can see this hole right here, that's where the dipstick is going to go. So let me see if I can show you that. Okay, in it goes. Push it all the way down. All the way down, and then back up and out. Okay, we got that now. And there's our fluid level. There's our fluid level on the stick, folks. And as you can see, that's full as well. It's up in the crosshatch area. It's safe. And we're good on transmission fluid. So that checks all the fluids out now. Let me just put the dipstick back. Okay, that checks all the fluids out. And I'm going to go turn off the car. Bear with me for just a second here. bear with me. Alrighty, I'm back. I'll be back up on your screen in just a second. Just want to wipe off any drips and drops of fluid that I got, because we don't want to get stuff on belts and things like that. Alright, checking next, we want to take a look at our fan belts. And we only have one belt on this. It's a serpentine belt. Alright, it's a grooved serpentine belt. You can see the grooves on the belt. And it wraps around several pulleys. Alright. And years ago, they used to put a diagram under the hood that showed you how those belts get routed around the pulleys. More and more of the manufacturers are not putting that under the hood anymore. To me is a bit of a problem, because then you got to go into either the service manuals or whatever. And you know, when you go into the service manuals, it takes some time to find this stuff. But in any case, it's all good. It's all doable. Let me just rotate this cap around. There we go. Okay. Our belt on this looks like it's in good condition. What I'm looking for, folks, on the belt here... I'm sorry, folks. We keep, losing our signal and reconnecting. But I'm going to have to speak with my internet provider about my signal here. And we're going to have to try and get that fixed in the future. But in any case, like I said, what we're trying to do here is to, go over and do some basic vehicle checks and maintenance. The belt on this looks good, so we're going to leave the belt alone. All right, I do not recommend using belt dressing. Okay, it just masks, any problems that you may have with pulleys and so forth. The tensioner pulley on this, by the way, is here. This is my water pump pulley right down here, and then down below that, this is my water pump pulley right down here, and then down below that, down here, is my crankshaft pulley. Okay, then I run accessories like my power steering pump and my air conditioning. Okay, and of course the alternator. The alternator is here. All right, let's see. I think I have some questions coming in here, and I'm hoping that I don't go buffering again. So let's get back here and let's try and answer some questions for you. All right, let me just get this set up again. Give me just a second here, fiddling with the camera. That's what happens when you're doing live streams. Okay, there we go. Let me just readjust. There we go. Okay. Who thought they got banned? Nobody gets banned here. I don't care who you are. Alright, let me just back up in the chat here and see what we have. Looks like the questions are starting to come in. Yeah, I know I'm buffering bad. I got lousy internet connection for some reason when I switched over from Fios to Altice. Used to get much better service out here in the driveway, but for some reason I'm not. Okay, let me just back up. It looks like I missed a lot of the chat. Okay. Okay, Carolyn asked me, what would you have done if the fluid was gritty? Carolyn, if the fluid was gritty, there's a couple of things that I'd start doing. First of all, if I changed the oil in the filter, if it was the power steering fluid that was gritty or the brake fluid that was gritty or whatever, I would do a complete flush of the system. and then change out the fluids. All right, oftentimes that helps. So that's what I would do if the fluid felt gritty to me. It doesn't, and none of the fluids, in fact, feel gritty. Okay, Wankel demo. Doesn't the side post battery virtually eliminate the corrosion, says Waukesha Pilot? No, Waukesha, it does not. You may not see the corrosion as easily as on a top post battery, but you still get corrosion on a side post battery, and the posts still need to be cleaned. Okay? King of Chuck, off topic. My wife's timing belt went on her car this week and froze the motor. Sold it to a pick-apart place for $1,100. Expensive week for me. Yeah, very expensive. What happens on a lot of these engines, they're what they call interference motors. In other words, if for some reason the pistons rise up and the timing belt breaks, and the valves are open, the piston's going to smack into the valves and can possibly bend valves, even put holes in pistons and just junk your motor. And that's what happens with those things when the timing belts break. So it's very important to maintain maintenance on your timing belt. Now, the belt I showed you is an accessory belt. There is no timing belt on this engine because it is a V8. It's driven by a chain. All right, there's actually a chain that connects the camshaft to the crankshaft, and that's what provides the connection between the crankshaft and the camshaft for valve timing. All right, so we want to check those at proper intervals. We want to change them out when they should be changed out. Generally, anywhere from 60,000 to 100,000 miles is what most manufacturers recommend for changing timing belts, and I'm going to stick with that. Okay. I'm sorry that you had such a bad week there, King of Chuck. Yeah, it's an expensive week, unfortunately. King of Chuck says, I did replace the belt at 105,000, but it froze at 118,000. King of Chuck, very important when you change out the timing belts that you change out the tensioner pulleys with them. When those pulleys freeze up, all right, it will cause the belt to snap. I don't know what specifically caused your belt to break, but I don't know whether the engine itself locked up or what, but without going in there and looking at it, I can't tell. And as I say in my description on my page, only a certified auto technician with experience should perform diagnosis on your vehicle and then present you with a service plan for your repairs. Okay, next question here. Wrecking Ball says, Doug, what would cause a slow start engine turns over and cranks for 15 or 20 seconds before starting? Once it starts, it runs great. 2010 Ford Escape, high miles. When was the last time you did a tune-up on it? Okay, tune-ups are a very important part of maintenance, and if it's not running properly, I would suggest that you bring it in and have it checked out. Let me ask you this also, Wrecking Ball, are any of your check engine lights on the dashboard? Okay, if they are, it indicates that you have a problem and it needs to go in for service. Okay. Battery question. Yeah, we'll get to that. Mike Smith, hey Doug, I have a 2.5 turbo diesel that is recommended 10W40 oil. I put in 20W50. Car is being used in temps between 50 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Will that weight oil be okay? It's a full synthetic. Yes, it'll be fine. Okay, I know that your car manufacturer says to use 10W40, but you can use the 2050. I would recommend going back to a 10 weight oil though for the winter time. Use the 10W40 in the winter. You can use the 20W50 in the higher temps. Okay. Hope that answers your question for you there, Mike Smith. Alrighty. Well, Keisha thought you got banned. No, nobody gets banned on my channel. Okay. We, put all that other drama behind us. Okay, guys. That's not what I'm about here. All right. JF says I have a 2007 Chevy Silverado, and even after having the brake pads replaced, they still squeal. Any easy fixes? Yeah. I have a couple of suggestions for you, JF. A lot of times when these guys put in pads on these Chevys, there are tabs on some of these brake pads that have to be bent over so the pad sits tight in the caliper. All right, if they don't have that, I suggest you use brake white on the backing plates of the pad between the caliper piston and the pad itself. Your squeaks you generally due to the pads vibrating in the caliper housing, and that's what is causing that squeak, that annoying squeal that you get when you step on the brakes. That's usually what it's all about. The only fix for that is, again, to take the wheels off, take the caliper off, take the brake pads out, spray them down with anti-squeal compound on the back side of the pad, not on the friction side of the pad, folks. Okay, and then reinstall the pads. That should eliminate your problem with the brake squeak. Alrighty. John Williams, Doug, have you had any experience replacing the synchronizers in old Triumphs? No, I haven't. Okay. I don't know how bad that is, John. I would suggest that you go on YouTube, do searches. There are tons of other guys out there that have experience with this stuff. I haven't had much experience with Triumph Spitfires. By the way, enjoy it. Beautiful car. I very much like them. Okay, Carolyn says, this week I heard on the news some of the belts are being made with some added soy, and mice and squirrels are eating them. Have you heard about this? No, I haven't, Carolyn, but that's interesting. I can't see where they could use soy in making, belts for automotive purposes. I mean, it might work in stationary equipment, where it's indoors, but I wouldn't put it on an automotive vehicle. Tagging to catch a fresh bees. Good to see you as well, buddy. How do you test an alternator if it's working? Well, I can show you. Okay, if you give me a minute, I'll hook up here and I can show you. Basically, all it takes is a digital voltometer or a load tester. All right, I'm going to do my test with a load tester. Let's see. We'll get to that in a minute. But when I start working on the battery here, I'll show you, how to go ahead and test the battery in the alternator. Okay, Teching to Catch a Fresh Bee says, I see a bike in the background. What you riding? Well, I used to ride. I haven't ridden in about a year because of, leg surgeries and hip surgeries that I've been through. I'm afraid that my bike is so heavy, I'm afraid that I won't be able to hold it up when I come to a light. So I haven't ridden in a while, but the bike that I have is a 2003. It's a Victory Classic Cruiser. It's a 1507cc machine, and it weighs in at about 800 pounds. So it's quite a heavy bike. It's definitely not a bike for beginners. And that's why I'm a little hesitant to jump on it with, my legs in the condition that they're in. John Blundell asks, are there different types of power steering fluid? Well, there used to be in years past. However, most car manufacturers are recommending that we use just regular power steering fluid. Some manufacturers years ago used to use automatic transmission fluid, ATF. Use what the manufacturer recommends. That's the best advice that I can give you, John, is use what your vehicle manufacturer recommends to be used in the power steering. All right, you can do a lot of damage to power steering by putting the wrong fluid in there. All right, Wrecking Ball says the tune-up was done to issues, plugs and wires. Problem continued after tune-up. I'm thinking dirty fuel pump or lazy fuel pump. It's possible. All right, you may have a problem with the ignition coils. So keep that in mind too. Coils break down over time, and they do need to be replaced. If you're not getting a hot enough spark, that'll definitely cause you to take a while to get the vehicle started. All right, Tagging to Catch a Fresh Breeze says, recently bought an 04 Touareg. Yeah, I know I must be nuts, but I like the rig. There is a nasty whine on startup. I am told by a certified mechanic it's the secondary air pump, and it is. Yeah, unfortunately, those air pumps, or smog pumps as we refer to them in the industry, do make some noise. The only thing I can tell you is to either change it out or change the bearings in it. Yeah, I've given you my suggestion as to what you can do. If it is a problem and it's a new vehicle, take it back into the dealer. It's covered under warranty. Okay, make a fuss about it and get them to change it out for you. All right, Mike, you're welcome. All right, whole shot. Same 2012 Nissan Frontier. The airbag light is blinking. It hasn't deployed, so what could be causing this? I plan to take it to Nissan. I'm just not sure it's urgent. Yeah, anything with the supplemental restraint system or SRS system is referred to it in the trade. When you get a flashing light like that, it indicates that your supplemental restraint system is not working properly. In other words, your computer is doing a diagnostic check, and after it's doing its diagnostic check, it's determining that there's a malfunction with the system. So if you were into an accident with it, and the airbag was supposed to deploy, it may not, which could cause you some severe injury. Generally, the car manufacturers are very quick to fix that under warranty. So take it back on into Nissan and have them check into that for you. That would be my recommendation. JF, you're welcome. Tagging to Catch a Fresh Breeze. I know the Victory well. Too bad Polaris stopped making them. Yeah, they're going to stop making them, and actually Polaris has bought Indian Motorcycle, and that's what they're into now. Carl, sorry I'm late, brother. Yeah, did you bring a hall pass, Carl? All right. Just got the anchor set. Okay. Bruce Saltzman, please, if you're going to talk to me in the middle of a live stream, do it on the live stream. Please don't message me in the middle because I can't take it. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. All right. Guys, I know Carl is on. I know that there's been some tensions between you. Please, let's just put it to the side here while you're on my channel, okay, guys? I don't want any nonsense on this channel, okay? That's not what this is about. Alrighty. All right, guys, bear with me for a minute. I'm going to reverse the camera here. I'm going to go to the garage, get some tools out so that we can work on that battery. Okay, I'm getting back here, folks. Thanks for bearing with me. Alrighty. I'm just getting some tools laid out here on the hood so that I can show you how we go about testing a battery. Alright, let me reverse the camera here for just a second. Alright, folks. This, folks, again, let me reverse the camera. This is a load tester. It's made by Snap-on. It's a battery tester. It also will check the charging system. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to hook that up to the battery cables. Red on positive, black on negative. Okay, just give me a second here. Let me try and position this a little better. There we go. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. We're going to put this on our battery connections. Again, red on positive and black on negative. There we go. Okay. With that being done, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see what our voltage reading is. And our voltage reading on the battery is about 12.8 volts, exactly where it should be. It should be somewhere between 12.8 and 13.2 volts. Okay, so our battery is very, very well charged here. All right, the next thing that I want to do is I want to do a load test on the battery. Okay, and for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this load button, hold it down for about 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to make sure my voltage doesn't drop below 11 volts. As you can see, it doesn't. And then we're going to release it, and it should come back up to about 12 volts. Okay, now, if I want to check to see if the battery is charging, what I need to do is I need to go back in the car and start it up. So just bear with me. Okay, with the engine running, I should be putting out about 13.8 to 14 volts. And there it is, folks. I don't know if you can see that. I'm putting out a... All right, I'm sorry here. I keep buffering. But in any case, that's how you go about checking your battery, folks. All right, let me just come over here and set this down. Okay. Anyway, that's how you go about checking your battery. I'm going to go over here and turn the car back off again. Just bear with me. Okay, there we go. All right, our next step here is going to be to clean that battery up. Okay, we want to make sure that we have nice clean connections, especially going into winter time. So what I'm going to do here, just let me get my tripod set up. Oh, this tripod is a pain. Okay, let's try that. How's that, folks? Okay, give me just a second. Yeah, when I was a professional in a trade, Chuck, you know, Snap-on tools go a long way. You know, they are professional grade and all that. All right. Let me just back up here. Yeah, just let me back up. I'm way back up here in the chat. Okay. All right, Holshot says, I don't think so, King. It's a 2012, but I did get a recall notice that I didn't understand something about the airbag. Yeah, Takata, who makes the units that cause the airbags to deploy, it's actually like a nitrogen-filled cartridge that causes those airbags to inflate and deploy. They had a major recall. I'm sure you've heard about it. Most of you have been affected by it. I know I have. In fact, I'm still waiting for the recall, for them to do the recall on my BMW. It is a bit of a pain, but take it on into them. Generally, if you request it, they'll give you a loaner car at the dealership while they're doing your repairs, so keep that in mind. All right, my next step here in servicing the battery is I'm going to disconnect the negative battery terminal. The negative battery terminal is a pain in the behind, folks. I'm sorry about it. There's nothing I can do to help. All right. We'll get that loose a few turns. Okay, now that we've got that loose a few turns, I can come over and I can loosen up the positive terminal. Now, one thing that's going to happen when I do this, when I disconnect my battery terminals, of course I'm going to interrupt the power flow from the battery to the car, so it's going to cause my computer to reset. All of my radio stations will have to be reset again. All right, there are things that you can buy at the auto parts store that operate off a 9-volt battery that plug in to your cigarette lighter so that you can keep power to it. I do not have one. I don't care about it. All right, I can go ahead and reset the computer. It's just a matter of taking it through its drive cycle. But in any case, what we're going to do here is now that I've got my cables loose, I'm going to give them a little jiggle, and we can use this tool right here, which is a battery terminal puller, and we're going to put that on. This is used so that we don't damage the battery posts while we're disconnecting it, so we're going to put that on. It will catch underneath there, and then I screw down on this, and my battery terminal will pop right off. And here it comes. And there we go, it's off. Okay, we want to position that off to the side so that it doesn't make contact. You can see that that battery post is rather dirty. We're going to do the same thing here to our positive terminal. Again, I got to crank this back down. Okay, slip that over. And we're going to crank down on this again. And this will get our battery cable to come off. Here it comes. Okay, there we go. The battery cables are off, folks. All right, with the battery disconnected now, I can go ahead and clean these terminals up, and you can see the corrosion on the back of there. Okay, that provides for very bad electrical contact, and that could cause some real problems for me, as far as the battery charging properly during the wintertime. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to take our battery cleaner, and there's my battery cleaner right there. You'll notice that on there's a positive here for the positive terminal, negative for the negative terminal. We're going to start by cleaning the positive terminal up, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this, screw it down on here, turn it around a few times. You can hear it cleaning. Alrighty. There we go. And you can see that leaves that nice and clean. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Alrighty, and there we go. We got some nice clean battery posts now. We're going to finish those up with a wire brush, so give me just a second. I'll be right back. Alright guys, like I said, we're going to finish this off with the wire brush cleaner. And again, I just want to go over both of these, clean them up really good. Okay, you can see that that's nice and clean now. This one also will be nice and clean when I get done. Alrighty, nice and clean battery posts now. Now I want to repeat the same process, but on the battery cables themselves. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in here with a wire brush, and you can see the crap coming off. Again, I want to try and get this as clean as I possibly can. Hope you can see that, folks. Alrighty. There we go. And we'll repeat the same process here on the negative post, or on the negative battery cable, I should say. Alrighty. Now that we've got those clean, I still have some more cleaning to do. You can see all the corrosion and wetness on top of my battery. That's from it charging and acid spilling over, and I want to neutralize that acid. So how can I go about doing that? Well, there's a very simple thing that we have, probably in our refrigerators. It's called baking soda. We're going to take some of that and mix it with water. So I'm going to go inside the house for just a minute here and go mix that up, and I'll be right back. Alright folks, I'm coming. Hope you haven't been away too long. Alright, what I've done is I've taken some baking soda, a couple of tablespoonfuls, mixed it in with about a pint of water in an old Chinese soup container. Alright, and I'm going to mix it up. And what I want to do is I'm going to pour some of this over my battery and my battery terminals and posts to clean them up. Alright, And I'm going to do that by spooning some right on here, and you're going to see it start to bubble up. All right, let's pour a little on here. There we go. Make sure those caps are on the battery tight, because you don't want battery to neutralize any acids that are on here. You'll see some stuff starting to bubble up. Alrighty. This will neutralize any battery acid that has leaked out. Alright, and let me just show you on this positive terminal here what we've got going on as far as chemical reactions go. Okay. You'll see this green stuff here, that's from the baking soda, and you'll see that it will start to disappear. All right, as we go along here. I want to do the same thing to this terminal. Again, very good. And we'll get this wiped off. We want to get as much of this corrosion off of here as I can. Alrighty. And then we follow up with our towel, and we want to dry everything off. Alright. And when we're done, we'll have a nice clean looking battery again. Okay. We're getting there. Hope you can see that. I hope I'm not buffering while I'm doing this. But like I said, we want to make sure that this is all nice and dry. Okay. Almost done here. Alrighty. Okay, hope you were able to see that, folks. Okay, we're doing good. Alright, at this stage of the game, I just want to dry up my terminals here. I am going to run my wire brush through them one more time, just trying to get the last of the corrosion off. Okay, and it's coming right off now that I have neutralized the corrosion using my baking soda and water solution. Okay, you see how nice that cleans up. This is going to do wonders for me this winter and prevent me from having any startup or charging issues. So there we go, and that's nice and clean up in there. It's also nice and dry, so we can go ahead and we can hook up our battery terminals again to our battery posts. Okay, again, I want to push that down, and we're going to tighten that up. Alrighty, let's tighten this up here. Now, when we tighten these up, these are tiny little bolts, guys. You don't want to over-tighten the hell out of them. You just want to make sure that they're snug. Alright, so that the battery terminals are tight to the battery post. Okay, I'm just about there now. Yep, there I am. Okay, that's it. I just want to check it, make sure that I can't turn it. We're going to just wipe out the inside of that rubber cover here. And again, I said that that's there just to prevent the hood, you know, any metal from the hood from touching the positive battery post so that it doesn't short out. Okay, with that done, I can put that back on. We can proceed to finish wiping this off. There we go. Okay, keep it all nicey nice. And let's get this over top of here. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to sit. Again, let's just finish wiping off any moisture. Okay, and we're going to repeat the same process here on this negative post. Alrighty, here's our negative post. Again, we'll put that on. Alright, just tap it down a little bit, and we'll go ahead and tighten this one up too. And here we go. Okay, we're just about there. And we are there. Okay, nice and tight again, ready to go. All right, so that's how to service your battery. Now, I also could take off the caps and check the battery, but since I've tested it with a load tester, there's no need really to do that. I could use a what they call a specific gravity gauge, which is simply just balls and floats that tell me the condition of the specific gravity of the acid in my battery, which indicates how well the battery is charged and the condition of the battery. All right, that is a good way of testing a battery to see if you have bad cells. I'm not worried about it with this vehicle. I take good care of it, as you can see. You know, 15 years old, 53,000 miles, and she's going strong. All right, let me get back to the chat here, folks, as I know that many of you probably got questions. All righty. All right, I'm sorry, folks. I'm just backing up here. Okay, whole shot. Nissan is subject to that recall. Yes! We're talking... Pardon me, guys. We're talking about the recall on the airbags, and yes, Nissan is subject to that recall. Millions of cars have been recalled, yes, but not enough bags to replace the defect. Huge problem. Yeah, I've been waiting almost 2 years now for BMW to replace the, you know, to do the recall on the airbag on my BMW. Yeah, I need a better tripod. You're absolutely right, but I make do with what I have and what I can afford, and right now I can't afford anything else. So that's the way things go. You know, you use what you got. Yes, King of Chuck says to... Yeah, you can find a used load tester like mine for about $100 on eBay if it's a Snap-on. You don't have to buy Snap-on. There are many other good manufacturers out there that make these things, and they go for about half of what Snap-on charges. Show the tool again, says Carl. So give me a second. Let me get up and I'll show you the tool. It's called a battery load tester. Okay, give me just a second here and I'll be glad to show you the tool again. Okay, that's a Snap-on battery tester. Okay, it's a load tester, and it's a fair, folks. This buffering is getting to be ridiculous. In any case, it is what it is. All right, let me revert the camera around here. There we go. Here I am again. Okay, hope that, again, you can't see the tool? You must be blind, buddy. All right, let me show you the tool once again. Okay, there's the tool. Okay, you got a good look at it now, Carl? I hope. All right, you see the tool? Okay, very good. Alrighty, there I is. There I is. Alrighty, let's get back here to the chat. Alright, most posts are tapered as well. Yes, all battery posts are tapered when it's a top post battery. Mike, is it dangerous to drive in the meantime, or a few more weeks shouldn't matter? If you've been driving it this long, as long as you're not in a front-end collision where the airbags need to be deployed, I don't think it's going to be a problem for you. Tagging to catch a fresh breeze, says Doug, I'm just at the tail end of selling the house. Got a bug out next Friday, so have to run. I understand. Good conversation. Take care. All right, Mike Smith, it can be dangerous in the event of a collision. If it goes off, there is the chance of injury from shrapnel caused by its deployment. Yes, that's what the problem is with the recall on these things. Problem is getting another fitted. Yeah, it is the problem. While everybody is away, hide. Yeah, okay, Carl, that's really funny. Ha ha. I think they've been running away and hiding on you, buddy. Yeah, da 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 da. Hulk shot, it would probably never happen to you, but it did happen to somebody, hence the recall. I would wait a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's happened to a lot of people since the recall. To the retirement, but it's up to you, of course. Okay, that's regarding getting that airbag issue taken care of. Sailmaster, how are you, buddy? It's good to see you. You need a whole pass too, Sailmaster. Okay, go back to the office, get a pass. What's up? Long time no talk. Yeah, it has been. Okay. Since Outcast stream. What's up, Pilot? Just drinking and watching SV. Yeah, it's a good way to spend a Sunday. Oh, the battery terminal tool you want me to show you. Yeah, there were a couple of them. Okay. That's this one here. Okay, that's part of my Snap-on set. And then there's the cheaper ones that you can buy in the store, you know, in any auto parts store, which is this. It's got a little wire brush on one end for cleaning the terminals. And it's got a wire brush in this end for cleaning the posts. Okay, so that's that. Alrighty. Anything else you want me to show you? Oh, to pull the tool to pull the terminals, that's this puppy right here. Okay, it's basically just a, you know, like a little gear puller. And it's made for, specifically in a battery kit, for pulling the terminals, you know, the battery cables off the terminal posts. Okay, so that's that. Yes, John, that's my Fiat hiding under the cover. That is a 124, by the way. Yes, it's a 79. One of these days, maybe I'll get the time and the money to get around to restoring it. I'm hoping so. I know that my daughter expressed some interest in helping me with that. Okay. Yeah, it looks like a gear puller. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm glad I made it out to the garage for a stream. I haven't been feeling well the last couple of weeks, but, you know, I told you folks that I was going to up my game here, and I'm hoping that this does it. Yeah, some of the little ones, King, are for pulling gears, but, you know, this tiny one is specifically made for pulling battery terminals. You know, pulling the cables off the battery terminal posts. I have a lot of inherited tools. I'm not sure what they do. Two big Craftsman rollaway boxes. Yeah, I know that feeling, Chuck. I know that feeling. In any case, folks, there is a couple of other items that I wanted to mention to you. One very important item is checking your air filter. All right. So let's get into that. Let me just pack up what tools I'm using here because I don't like to lose things. You know, tools are expensive, folks, and you got to take care of them. So let me just pack up my tools here, and then we'll go and we'll show you how to check that air filter. Okay, folks. All right. Let me flip the camera around here. And there's our air filter housing. That's this unit right here. And it's real simple to check. There are a couple of clips that hold the cover in place. So let me come around here, show you where those clips are. Okay, there's one of them right there. We're going to release that. Release that. Okay, flip this over. And then I can go ahead and I can pick up the outer part of the housing, and I can pull my filter out and take a look at it. And I just changed this filter. This is what a new filter should look like, nice and clean. Okay, being that that filter is in good shape, we're going to reinstall it. If it was dirty, I'd install a new filter, but it's not, as I just changed this about 3 weeks ago. Okay, when I'm putting this back in, there are some tabs on this back side. I don't know whether you can see that or not. Okay, and that takes care of the air filter. All right, folks, I've been on for about 1 hour and 10 right now. I'm going to wrap up here by answering any other questions that you post to the stream, and you know, we'll call it a day. I think it's been a very productive day so far, and I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, just give me a second here as I am going to go park myself on my behind. And there we go. And Doug is back. There we go. All right, let me back up in the chat here. Yes, Sailmaster says, glad you made it out to the garage for the stream. Well worth it, my friend. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I hope to do a lot more of these. You know, the weather has either been too hot or too rainy. Today was just a beautiful day. I says, let me get out here to the garage. Let me get under the hood. Let me show them some of the stuff that I'm talking about. All right. I think it makes a lot more sense to you when you actually see it rather than me just talking about it. King of Chuck says, I've inherited a lot of tools. Yeah, me too. My father was a mechanic, and he passed down a lot of stuff to me. Not as much as I would have liked, but, you know, he helped me out when I first got started, especially. Yeah, Miss Chari, yeah, definitely. Get off the road, and then you can watch it in a replay. Okay, a lot of useful information here today that I'm sure will help you out. Yeah, I'm glad I'm feeling better too, Carl. About the hair, yeah, Carl. About the hair, yeah, well, the hair is what the hair is. You know, that's why I usually wear a baseball cap, but, you know, I didn't today. No, Chuck, I don't think I'm going to buzz my head. My wife isn't into that. All right. Okay. Sailmaster, be nice, okay? Please. I know you are being nice, but, you know, let's not poke the bear. Okay, Sailmaster says, I typically swap mine to K&N when I buy a new vehicle. Yeah, K&N is a good filter because it is reusable, okay? You can clean it, you know, and then re-oil it and reuse it. But be very careful, you know, on these new computer-controlled cars when you re-oil it. You don't want to overload it with oil, as you will screw up your mass airflow sensor. Okay, you'll contaminate the mass airflow sensor and cause check engine lights to come on and cause you know, vehicle running issues. John, good stream. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. King of Chuck, thank you. Yeah, I think it's a good video today. Kanan and the vet and the wife Semi both are good. Yeah. Yeah, Sailmaster, I had a nice day for it. I got some drone footage while I was out shooting with another camera. Might throw some clips up later. Yeah, looking forward to that, Sailmaster. All right. All right, folks. If there's no other questions here, up. GTG, get ready for tonight's live stream. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, okay, gotta go. I understand. Love seeing you on here. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up at this stage of the game. Please tune in next Sunday at 5 p.m. for another episode of Garage Talk with Doug. You know, keep in mind that everything that I show you and say to you here is strictly for informational purposes. I do have a disclaimer down below on my description page. Keep in mind that, you know, really any diagnosis should be performed by a certified auto mechanic, preferably one who is ASE certified. And, you know, they need to do diagnostic tests, road tests, and so forth, and then present you with a service plan for getting your car fixed. All right? So, you know, keep that in mind, folks. And until next Sunday, happy motoring. All right? Catch you all on the flip side, folks. Keep the, you know, the shiny sides up and the greasy sides down, the wheels spinning and the beavers grinning. Have a great evening, folks, and have a good week. Bye-bye.